Welcome, my name is Rich, and this is a laid-back Let's Play of Star Wars The Old Republic. I'm still on Tatooine, as we see, but now, between streams, I have explored the whole map. This bit was quite difficult, because this is an Empire-controlled area, and so you can actually get to it through here, and this zone is a PvP area, but I actually approached it from this side and came up here, jumped down, and then slipped around the buildings and past so that I could access the rest, and only came into this PvP area from the south. There's two sections that I was struggling to find. One was this one, which is accessible through this this route. This is an Empire area as well. This will remain unexplored until you explore the whole map. It's not accessible at all. It's all rocks. And the Dune Sea, there's an area up here which took me a while to find. And if you haven't found it yet, and you're just looking at the edge of it, it's not obvious that you can get in, but there is a route up here through the rocks into this area so that you can discover it. Not a good idea to stay there. All the enemies there are quite powerful. It's also a fairly horrifying looking area. I don't know the full story. Another thing that I was going to do but completely forgot between streams is read about Sand People lore and their history. But as I said, completely forgotten. This appears to be an area you can explore, but it's an Empire area, so you can only get to here, and there's a barrier across it, so you can't actually enter. And of course, there's nothing down here. But if you compare this to how it looked last time on Monday, there was a section down here undiscovered and a section across here undiscovered, and those only got revealed when I discovered this area. Anyway, mainly what I'm going to be doing today, and in general, if you're just joining me for the first time, is engage with the story that the game is trying to tell. I will mostly be making snarky comments at the expense of stupid characters or stupid lines. A lot of the stupid characters happen to be Sith, although this isn't really surprising if you know anything about Sith. And in general, I will talk about the moral and ethical questions that the game poses to players that they have to navigate through when they're making choices. And places I think that the game and the lore might have drawn inspiration, and just anything that comes to mind. Like, occasionally I find rooms that contain objects. In this game it's been ships that could not possibly have gotten in through the door, or any of the other openings that might be in the room. And I wonder why these things are the way they are. Has someone decided to build a ship inside a room, not realizing that there's no way out? Is there a hidden hatch somewhere? Have they got miniaturization technology? We just don't know. There hasn't been much of that here on Tatooine, although last time I did complain about enemies spawning in just quickly enough. In a heroic area, it wouldn't have mattered very much if it was an ordinary area, because ordinary enemies are pretty easy to kill. But in a heroic area where the enemies are more difficult, they spawned in behind me as I went into an area just quickly enough that the way out that I'd opened up by killing my way in had closed, and a bunch basically respawned on top of me as I was attempting to engage one group, and I died a couple of times, which was not a good feeling. I don't know how much better that area could have been designed, but I really didn't feel that it was very good. Now, I did complain. Well, I did go to lengths talking about how last time I didn't want to pick up quests and then not do them, but I had 10 minutes to fill, so I wandered around this camp, Outpost Largona, picking up quests, and then left. So what I'm going to do is refresh my memory and yours. So I need to kill sand people. You can see I've already killed 8. That was just due to, as I was wandering this region, I happened to need to open routes through. I also need to slice comm relays. Slicing is the Star Wars term for hacking. It originated with R2-D2, who apparently, in a novel, who was described as not so much hacking, but slicing, because he was so much more elegant at it. And now that is just the term used for getting past digital security in Star Wars. So it has evolved from a term used to separate out different levels of ability in breaking digital security to just being the noun which describes that activity in this setting, which is a little disappointing to me, to be honest, because it robs us of a subtle definition, a distinction. If it were still used to describe a superlative, an excellent hacker, describing someone as a slicer would actually have some kind of meaning. It's not like we don't have a term for hacking, but oh well. We've also got, so that's comm relays. We've got sand people to kill. We've got Fez Berber's assistants to find. And that's a bonus to buried treasure. Oh no, hold on. Missing assistants bonus. Okay, so that's actually the main goal of buried treasure. Finding the research results into, what was it? Oh, I can't remember. Was it that he had found a way to... He'd found water under the surface of Tatooine and was thinking of ways to bring it to the surface. Water deep below the surface of a desert planet. Where have we seen that before? But that wasn't original to Tatooine when it was written for the first Star Wars film. And then as a bonus objective, we can find Fez Berber's assistants. Quality assurance is hacking, slicing these comm relays, and as a bonus objective, we can defeat sand people, but it's probably going to be kill, let's be real. Do I have anything else? Ultimate Warriors, use ship's holoterminal. I'm curious about whether that will actually end my adventure on Tatooine. Not curious enough to do it, because I don't want to be railroaded into leaving early, but there's a bunch of stuff to do still here that I didn't get. I didn't get an introduction to Outpost Largona. It was just, I knew it was a place that I could get to, and usually in the game and in other MMOs and other RPGs, Tatooine or Arrakis. Welcome, Marhawkman, by the way. That's about the water hidden underground trope. Yeah, definitely a Frank Herbert thing first, and then just nicked for this. There's even a drug in Star Wars called Spice. It's just, it gets you high. It doesn't do anything else. And And I suppose there is weird mysticism in both Star Wars and Dune as well, isn't there? With a male, long foretold one who is incredibly remarkable with that mysticism, with that mystic power. Wait, when did Dune get written and published? I know that this is drawing too many parallels. I mean, Luke is just following the hero's journey. He's not a direct rip-off of Paul Armatradis. Armatradis? He's not a direct rip-off of the main character in Dune. (1965). Okay, so Dune does predate Star Wars by at least a decade. Wait, when did Star Wars get... Jesus Christ, I don't know the dates of anything. I'm a terrible geek. (1977). Okay, so yes. Dune predates Star Wars by 12 years, so more than a decade, if only slightly. And rather than start on another world and then come to a desert planet, it starts on a desert planet and then goes to other worlds. Parallels are often just a matter of using similar settings and not being direct copies. As the saying goes, follow follows function. Yeah. So, I mean, Luke is just following the hero's journey. And Star Wars is based on the Forbidden Fortress more than anything else, and the Force is modelled on yin and yang, and chi, and kind of martial arts mysticism from China. But because it was written in the 70s, it's quite a bad interpretation and translation of those things. And it hasn't gotten better at being a representation of Eastern mysticism in Western media since then. Nevertheless, there are some parallels to be drawn between Luke and Paul, I think. Even the fact that they're both biblical names. But yes, we have several quests here. Pirate bullies, I've talked about before. Oh no, not pirate bullies. Blitz Twin Suns. I couldn't do it last time. I might actually need to leave planet and come back to do this later. Once I've leveled up. Because the groups of enemies... Well, I approach from this side, so I might give it a go. I might take a shot at approaching from this direction instead and see whether I have any better luck. But it might be the case that I can't manage this at the moment solo, well, with Kaizen's help, and I need to come back and do this. And other than that, there are a couple of quests, including this one. Bleck. Did the master that I helped here have a Padawan? There are other Jedi on the planet. Because I discovered them when I was exploring. They're in Empire questing zones. They are Jedi rescuers who are trying to rescue some people from a downed prisoner transport in the Dune Sea, I think. So there are a bunch of Jedi on the planet, but we are not communicating with them at all, apparently. I mean, according to the way that the Force works in Expanded Universe, we would be able to sense one another, and to a degree communicate a little bit, depending on who you read, like which version of the lore you read. But because they are killable quest objectives for the Empire, we never directly interact with them, which is a bit of a shame, but whatever. Yeah, odd behaviour for a Jedi. Although if they've got sand fever and they've gone... Well, if they've basically got heat stroke, but worse because it's Tatooine, because there's two suns. Heh, reminds me of those Trigon spawn NPCs in DCUO. Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to interact with the Trigon spawn if you're a villain. You should also be able to interact with the... the good magic guys, Sentinels of Magic, if you're a hero and you happen to wander into the villain areas. It's not 100% clear what the result will be long term. Yeah. So the Jawas employ desert maps until they learn the desert routes, I guess. Is Trigon really trying to have his demon children take over Earth one at a time? But in DCUO, these quests are annoyingly trollable. Yeah. Yeah, it's not really clear what Trigon's plan is there, or how effective he thinks it's going to be. It could be that what he's planning is by sending out lots and lots of his minions to a known hostile zone full of beings that will destroy them, is maybe he's planning on having them get stronger. Heroes need to beat up the Trigon spawn, and villains with healing powers can heal them to prevent that. Oh, yeah. I got trolled as a hero during... ages ago, years and years ago. I got trolled, griefed, I think, really, during the Ring War, Green Lantern stuff, where I needed to help Green Lanterns, but there were villains there just killing all of the Green Lanterns before I could interact with any of them as soon as they spawned for a while, so I just left. I think I played another character or just stopped playing the game that evening, but it wasn't a good time. Wow. What a really kind, thoughtful Jawa. Usually they're much more mercenary than that. They're usually much more... they're much closer to, but not really very similar to Star Trek's Ferengi. Right, where do I need to go? Oh, hey. Let's go and do that, because it's right here. Pirate bullies. Ring War stuff that has a villain has as a villain objective, doesn't it? So it's not really trolling, just winning. Well, they spawn in quickly, and there's quite a large region of them where they spawn in, and there were a couple of villain players who were like really, they weren't like my level, they were really high level. Like they had end game gear, and they were just hanging around killing every single Green Lantern recruit before anyone could get a chance to interact with them. So it's not like they were doing the mission at the same time as me, at the same level, and just happened to be quicker at it. Like they were way past needing to do that content and hanging around to be dicks. So this is a heroic, so let's put him on tank mode. And I don't quite need it just yet, but might as well. Bonus, dispatch people. Bragan Helk's forces, okay. Now, does this go underground, or is it just a very small heroic area? Maybe it's just a very small heroic area. Alright, in you go, Kaizen. Hopefully he won't pull a second group. Hopefully I won't pull a second group. I know that you're being corroded by caustic chemicals, but if you just meditate, maybe you'll heal up. If I stand like this, they can't see me. No, go away. No one likes you. Splendid. What does that even do? Heroic moment. Seize the moment, restoring 2% of your maximum health every 3 seconds. Requires an active companion. Lasts 60 seconds. I'm not sure why this requires a companion, but... okay. Ah. Oh, he's a Zabrak, who is coloured red and black, and is a champion. Okay, in you go, Kaizen. Trying to have too much fun. He's quite a tough cookie, isn't he? Oh, I'm not buffed, am I? That'd probably help, wouldn't it? Kaizen will be fine. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully no one respawns behind us. That would be... because this isn't like a closed off instanced zone. This is out in the wild. This is part of the outside zone, so presumably it has the same respawn rate. Oh, good. The first group that we encountered was in here, so they haven't respawned, so it won't be an issue. Manage that quickly enough. So, over here. To hack the comm relays. I'm going to say that my character is not good enough at slicing to call it slicing. I'm going to say that she's only a hacker. She's much more interested in the living force and how it flows through the natural world than in doing anything with computers. She can use them, but not elegantly bypass digital security. I still really enjoy Project, just because of the fact that the direction that the rock comes from appears to be random or mostly random. Like, it's never the same direction in towards the target. It's always like from somewhere around them, and for me it just means that they've put extra effort into where the hell is the relay? Oh, it's over there, like deep inside the camp, and apparently they haven't destroyed it, which is a bit suspect. Usually sand people are much more belligerent with other people's stuff than that, so but I mean, if you can get the sand people to agree to somehow, through a treaty or something, to agree to not destroy your technology, then I imagine that putting your technology, your broadcast towers, into a sand people camp would be a great way of making sure that they stay safe. Just not sure how you would plan on servicing them if they ever need... Well, I mean, of course they would need it. This is a desert. Stuff doesn't stay in excellent repair in deserts. It doesn't stay in excellent repair anywhere outside. But deserts are worse for it than, like, grassland or forests or something. Even with whatever protective advancements the technology of Star Wars, the Star Wars galaxy would bring to the equation. Also, the Sand People have some ability to use tech. I mean, they have those giant sand-crawling rolling fortresses, don't they? No, those are the Jawa, not the Sand People. The Sand People don't use the sand crawlers. Sand People use banthas, which are those big sort of wedge-shaped, very thickly furred creatures with long horns. There's a bantha there, but I can't really be bothered. Oh, there's several bantha there, but I can't really be bothered fighting my way through to show you it. Sand People don't... I think they do use some technology, like they use blasters, so they must have some ability to like repair that technology, but for the most part, no. I don't think that they do use technology, really. Maybe they use... oh, well, I mean, they use gas masks and rebreathers, and probably binoculars or, you know, vision enhancing tools. But yeah, no, the sandcrawlers are Jawa stuff. This all shall please scorekeeper, I hope. I think it was yesterday when I was exploring. I don't think it was on stream, but I killed some womp rats whilst I was crossing one of these rock bridges across this big chasm, and Kaizen came out with one of his lines about like it being a rare find, a great thing to hunt, and I was like, Kaizen, your priorities are obviously very different from mine. Do you reckon you could group up a bit, please? That'll do. I can't be bothered waiting for them to get into position. Shall earn glory today. That was his most recent line whilst we were fighting womp rats. Yeah, I think Kaizen is overestimating the womp rats a little. My ailments include having too much junk and not enough money. What's this thing? Ooh, stuff I can actually use. Splendid. What did that piece of gear get me? Not very interesting, is it? What planet is Kaizen from? Oh, womp rats common there. I have no idea what planet Kaizen's species comes from. He's he's a lizard man. Ooh, that's a cool mount. But I don't think that womp rats are findable there. He's I used to know the name of the species, but I've forgotten it. Let's look him up. Kaizenfess. Trandoshan. So let's search Trandoshan. I imagine that they're from Trandosha or something. Trandoshan's also called Todoshok. From Trandosha. In fact, I was entirely correct. Trandosha is the name of their homeworld. I don't know. I mean, I suppose I could try and investigate where Womp Rats are native to, but I can't really be bothered. I've done that one, so I need to come down here, don't I? Right. I suppose it could be Trandosha, so Trandoshan. I suppose it depends on how you're emphasizing the word. Oh, here we go. Here's a bantha. Oh, hello. Oh, there was apparently a small metal box buried here that my ability to use the Force found. Picked up and hurled at the dude. So this is a bantha. You would think that something living on a desert planet would not want huge thick hairs like this, but it was in the first film, so it's canon. The most significant reference I can think of was Luke talking about his marksmanship skills he developed while growing up. Yeah, which would be Tatooine. If I recall correctly, camels have quite thick fur too. Yes, but it's much shorter than bantha fur. And I don't think that... I mean, it looks like each strand is probably about a foot long. And I don't think that that would be very helpful in a desert. You would imagine if it was, we would find creatures on Earth that were like that. I'm sure there's some silly bullshit in the lore about how it's got incredible heat dissipating properties. Keeps the sun off your skin, I guess. Yeah, I guess, but it's just waiting to get matted and full of dust. And fur is very, very good at keeping you warm. And I know that, like, for example, if you get... So the example of the experiment that I saw on a kids show during the late 90s was the hosts got two snowmen, well, small snowmen, about a foot tall, made up of, snow, packed ice, shaved packed ice. And one of the snowmen they left as it was, and the other one they dressed up in like a scarf and a hat and a wool coat, I think, and then they got some hair dryers and blasted them both with hot air, and the one that wasn't insulated, the one that didn't have, the wool coat and scarf and so on, melted faster. So having layers like this does insulate you. It's only helpful if your core is not also generating heat. Like, if they are lizards and cold-blooded, then... Well, no, they wouldn't want fur. They would want... the sun to be able to reach their skin, so that doesn't make any sense either. Maybe Bantha secretly naturally use the Force incredibly well to dissipate heat. I just think of Banthas as like camels but bigger. Yeah, I mean, they've got horns, so I would be more inclined to call them like bison but bigger. Picked up a thing, didn't I? There we go. Bonus: destroy sand people totems. When did I get that? Oh, I see. It's a stage 2 thing that was added. Okay. Which is probably as much effort as the people designing them put into the thought process. Yeah, bison live in some relatively warm areas, but not deserts. Yeah. I know that, well, they live in sort of central and south northern America, the North American continent. I think they prefer to be in colder places, but there are like bison on relatively southern plains, probably during the summer, maybe. I don't know enough about bison to say anything, actually, to be honest. So I'm supposed to be trying to find a Padawan, and there aren't many places here where a Padawan could be hiding. So, are they inside one of these tents? It looks like bantha fur. I wonder what banthas smell like. Probably very strong. No. Great Plains area, which is open grassland, but the key part of grassland is having grass. Yeah, grassland is not desert. I'll definitely agree with you there. And I also think that they are migratory as a species, and probably prefer to be further north during the summer and come south during the winter. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're also territorial, and there are like herds which stick south and herds which stick north. Or were, before they were almost wiped out by hunters. Very close to reaching the 1,000,000 credit maximum. I'm not that close. Chill out, game. Apparently destroying that totem required a Jedi flip. Jedi flip. Surprised that they aren't coming running, considering I'm destroying quite tall, recognizable totems. So, I've got no idea where this Padawan is supposed to be hiding. The area that they are supposed to be findable in is very small, and there isn't much there. So, I'm going to look the quest up, and hopefully the Padawan is only ever in one location and not like wandering around or something, which would be very unhelpful. Also not clear on how this counts as a heroic quest, because all we've got are ordinary and some strong, so silver border dudes. There are no, like, in a heroic 2+ zone, usually it's groups of 2 silver border and 1 gold border, so strong and elite. Ever play Freedom Force? You can demolish a villain there a piece at a time, and the enemies won't seemingly notice until they see you directly. I haven't played Freedom Force. I don't know much about it. I think it's a superhero game? Is it superhero? Is it XCOM but superheroes? It's kind of old, and it's a squad combat game, not an MMO. Yeah. Is it isometric? It is a bit like XCOM, yeah. Okay. Not like hide behind chest-high walls and miss every shot despite the percentage, but like it's not turn-based. Oh, okay. So, what does SWTOR Spy have to tell me about... Oh, they're dead. They're a dead body. That's a shame. How's it going, guys? I was looking for a standing NPC with a name tag, but no, it's they're dead. Welcome, good old gladiator. Hello. Good old gator, sorry. Let's blame my mild dyslexia for that. I suppose you could be a gladiator and a gator. Freedom Force, bit like XCOM, not turn-based, has no cover mechanics. So next question, where's the dead body? Where indeed? It's... There's 2 pictures to help you with this section of the game. One is this, a picture of this whole map, which is not very helpful, and a second is a third-person screenshot. And I'll have to try and match the the objects visible in the picture with the stuff around here, but it's outside somewhere. So their body's not inside, at least. Near some debris that looks like bits of ship. Oh, there we go. And there's an object underneath her. Oh, that's the end of her. That's a shame. So now I need to come here? No. Come here for a Jawa's concern. Okay. So that's just on the way, basically. I'll be doing these things. I need to make a small detour for this, but overall head in that direction. So you're a good old gator. Is there a bad old gator? Are you eternal foes? Or like, do you stand in opposition to the standard sort of gator? As far as I know, sand people are basically humanoid under their weird robes and masks, so I have no idea why or how they make those kind of croaky sounds. Maybe it's a function of the way that their gas masks work, or well, not gas masks, but sand masks. Jedi flip. I don't know what that is. Jedi flip. Ah, Fezberb's assistant. Okay. Right, yes, that's what I'm here for. I thought I was after a tower for some reason. And it didn't... I didn't rescue the whole droid, I just rescued its memory core, apparently. I don't know whether shouting Jedi flip every time my character does that attack is amusing to anyone else or not, but I think it's funny. Because it's entirely unnecessary. Like, you don't really gain any extra force from doing a flip like that. Jedi flip. Because you need to devote some amount of attention and effort towards like landing. So in order to pull off getting any added force from like the momentum of your body moving in a circle like that, you would need to practice that flip attack repeatedly at length, and there are just better ways of using your time. And also, if you're using a lightsaber, the amount of force that you apply doesn't really matter unless you're attacking a material that is resistant to lightsabers, which very few things are. One of them is other lightsabers, and the other, as far as I know, the two materials that, or substances that can resist lightsabers are lightsabers and cortosis, which is a rare mineral that causes the lightsaber blade to short out. Oops. And so with cortosis, actually isn't, now that I'm thinking about it, there isn't really any point in trying to apply extra force to cortosis, because it will still short out your lightsaber blade regardless, because of the interaction between the energy of the blade and the mineral. So doing it with more force or doing it more quickly doesn't actually help. The only time that you would need to apply more force to the swing of a lightsaber is if you are fighting someone else who is also wielding a lightsaber. This cortosis, that stuff Phasma covered her body armor with. I don't know. I don't know much about Phasma. Phasma's armor actually looks more like Beskar, which is the Mandalorian armor material, and isn't as good as cortosis in stopping lightsabers, but is otherwise pretty excellent stuff, as far as I know. You're probably just as capable of looking up whether Phasma's body armor is made of or coated with cortosis as I am, but I don't think so. I think cortosis is black, shiny and black, but not silvery. He's down, so I hit him with a huge rock. Am I going the right direction? Yes, I am. Wait, hold on. Oh, good. I was a little worried that it was on top of the cliff, and I was wondering how I was supposed to get up the cliff. But luckily it wasn't. So is Freedom Force based on a like DC or Marvel property, or does it use its own stable of heroes? I think if it were based on Marvel or DC, I would know, but since I don't, it can't be. But is it maybe based on Image Comics superheroes or something, or an Elseworlds, or a Vertigo, Wildstorm set of heroes? And do you get to create your own characters, or is it more like you pick from an existing selection to construct your team? Because there were some X-Men games and then a Justice League game on the original Xbox that were like top-down, isometric, well, not top-down, isometric four-person squad games, and each of the heroes that you could assign to your squad had their own attacks and specialties, and you could choose which of them you were directly controlling as you ran around. It was a lot like controlled a lot like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, actually. I played all of the X-Men ones. Well, I played through the 2 X-Men ones, and I own the Justice League one, but never completed it. What's this? Defeat some people. Chieftains. Oh, right, okay. And that's these guys. The silver ones. Alright, well, that's easy enough. I was already doing that. So something I want is just around here, or no, it's up there. It's up that ridge. But there is also an objective over here that I want to go and pick up. It weren't quite quick enough, Kaizen. Ah, here we are. Wonder what Fez Berber was doing this deep in Sand People territory. And how he was expecting to get out. I mean, obviously he has managed to get out, which is very impressive. The Fall of the Sand People. Destroy the Herald's totem, then defeat and search the Herald of Blood Gouge. Wow, what a cheery sounding chap. Well, maybe not a chap, actually. Ooh, he's big. No, I think that's a dude. It's not a female body type. Tribal Leadership Banner. Bring the banner to Outpost Lagona. So now all I need to do is Blood Gouge's lair. Oh, hold on. I just defeated Blood Gouge. And he wasn't in his lair. That's a bit weird. Yeah, I definitely just defeated Blood Gouge, so quite why I'm coming to Blood Gouge's lair to presumably beat him up. Oh, I need to switch. This is the heroic area. Okay. That makes a bit more sense than having just a section here that is suddenly heroic for no reason. No apparent reason. Alright. In you go. So, I don't know whether my tablet is having trouble connecting and therefore not showing me what you're typing, because the last thing I've seen from you, Mahawkman, assuming you're still watching, is Cortosis that stuff Phasma covered her body armor with? And I haven't gotten anything else after that. Is that actually helpful? No, not really. He's got too much health for it to be significant. It's not a big boost, is it? That was very impressive. Lots of lightning, wasn't it? Maybe I should try telling my tablet to reconnect. Connect to the network that has 4 bars, please. Tablet. That'd be a good idea. Reconnecting to chat. Thanks, that's very helpful. Do you think you could connect to the chat? Just an idea, just throwing things out there. Let's close the app. Reopen it. Stream Manager. Kaizen, please can you use your threat managing abilities to manage the threat? Okay, so now the app is showing a little red dot next to Stream Manager, which presumably means that it's actually online and connected, and it didn't have that before when I think the connection was crummy. But checking the network connection widget, it's got the little spinning, and it stopped spinning. Maybe that means it's a stable connection now. I thought I'd stopped having problems with my tablet connecting in here. What did I do that for? That's not the ability I wanted to use. Wow, that's a big bonus, isn't it? Or a high number for a bonus. Wow, weird. When they try and leave through the door, they just jump over here, and phase through the roof. Go, go, Gadget Kaizen. There we go. Oh, there's more. Okay, I thought this was the only cave. Oh, well, I mean, it's all one cave, I suppose, but I thought this was the only, like, room in the cave system. Just stand there for a little bit and then... I suppose that's safer than walking out. That Padawan's father can't have been killed that long ago, can he? Considering. Is that assigned to control 1 or something? It's very difficult to see. Oh yeah, that's C3, isn't it? Well, the one Padawan corpse hadn't desiccated yet. That's true. But she could have been... Also, yes, hey, cool. Excellent. The chat... the tablet is connecting and I can see chat again. Fantastic. Let's hope it lasts. The visions she was getting of her father dying could have been old visions, I guess. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to have been anything recent. The Force is weird like that. So, Control 1. There we go. Don't really like using Control as a modifier. It's not really how my grip, or well, not grip, but it's not how my hand is naturally positioned on the keyboard during combat. In games like this, maybe I should change that to Alt 1 or something. Because having a shortcut that tells Kaizen to go ahead and attack would be useful. Oh, good. I can just keep releasing settlers, regardless of whether I've reached the target number or not. Always weird to me when you're on a rescue mission in games like this and you reach your quota and then that's it. You can't rescue anyone else. Oh, hey, that was interesting. You don't usually see him use that ability at range, do you? Hardcore gameism. Yeah. It's probably to do with the systems built around or the systems like in the engine to do with the way that you are able to assign things as objectives, like the way that you build quests. Like once you fulfill your quota, being able to, because the quest allows you to interact with these objects. So once you complete the quest and or at least the part of the quest where you interact with a number of these, having you continue to be able to interact with these even though you have met the requirements of the quest must be an additional complication or several complications on top of Chieftain Blood Gouge. So were there 2 Blood Gouges, do you reckon? Did we kill his older or younger brother outside? You can't pick up quest items when you don't have that quest associated. Yeah. Go, Kaizen. It's not really go gadget, is it? I mean, he's not a force ability. I suppose I could just go with Kaizen, I choose you. Hi, welcome, Shaman Boy. SWTOR is full of quirks like that. Side effect of using an engine that was in some ways outdated when this came out in 2011. Yeah, well, I mean, being able to interact with quest objectives after you've completed that part of the quest is unusual to SWTOR, because you can't do it in MMOs like WoW or even in DCUO, which is roughly contemporary with SWTOR. I've no idea what engines the two games use, to be honest, but is this an instanced area where respawn rates are different from the outside? I think it is, because we're on a different map. And I wasn't complaining about being able to interact with those cages that were holding people. I actually thought that was a good thing, because it's more immersive. If your character is playing, if you're playing a hero and you're rescuing people from being held captive, then why would your character in universe stop once they've released 5 or 7 or 10 or however many it is, and there are still more people in that space needing to be saved, and your character is like, you know what, I've done 5 of you, the rest you can stay, I'm not worried about you, this is enough. So being able to continue to rescue people even though you've met the requirements of the quest is, for me, better, more immersive. Like, even if it's an oddity of a kind of a bug of the game, I actually think it's better this way. I've just realised I could have called it a shuttle whilst I was inside the cave. These shuttles are a really good service, aren't they? They can come and get you from anywhere, practically. Right, okay. Hand in here. Good plan. Single player games just have you rescue all of them as the quest objective. Yeah. I mean, the reason that you have surplus in multiplayer games is so that other players who are on the same quest at the same time can come along and have objectives to complete alongside you, or whilst you're doing it at the same time. Although now that I'm thinking about that along those lines, that was an instanced zone, and presumably if you were in there, either you're the only person doing that, or the people that you're in there with are in the same group as you, so you share completion of objectives. So I don't know why there would be more objectives inside an instanced zone than the required number for completing the quest. Maybe the designers did it out of habit. Yeah, probably. So, this twit here was talking disparagingly at his protocol droid, a droid which is not built for any kind of combat, and talking about how he could have been the one striding victoriously back, when the droids that he lost in sand person areas were combat droids, or at least appeared to be, and certainly were more robust than this guy. And he somehow expects that this protocol droid could function better in that environment. Yeah. I don't think he's all there. Collating... Spending weeks collating data is not an easy job, and I think it would probably be preferable than running out into a desert as a droid, into a desert full of sand people who are hostile. What's this telling me? Oh, right, that quest. Okay, so I think that's all the quests here now, other than Blitz Twin Suns. No, let's go give that a shot. Let's approach from this direction. Oh, my buffs have run out. See whether approaching from a different direction, because when I tried to do Blitz Twin Suns and came down this way, the groups that I was encountering were... So it's a heroic mission, which means that all the groups of mobs would be stronger, of course. I'm not surprised about that. Oops, wrong way. But usually in heroics, the groups are of 3, and 2 are silver and 1 is gold, or 2 are strong and 1 is elite. But when I was approaching from this direction, the groups I was finding were 4 or 5 strong and had 2 elites, and I just wasn't capable of standing up to that much damage, nor was Kaizen in even in tank mode. Now maybe if you were playing a class that could tank, and then you had your companion set to heal, you could do it solo. And of course, if you were part of a group, then I imagine it would be much, much easier to do heroics. But as you can see, I am not part of a group. Okay, so this looks more reasonable. Unless he's a part of the group and he's gonna... No, hold on. They're all elites. I don't know how you're supposed to be able to manage this. Especially because I think that these are all... It's probably that hard to force you to group. That's not a good feeling, though. And, like, none of the other... heroics that I've done so far have been requiring you to group up with other players. Okay, this is going a bit better than the last time. Possibly because I'm slightly higher level. Or possibly because I'm being smarter about it. somehow. I'm not quite sure how I would be being smarter about it. A somewhat tanky DPS class plus healing companion will get you through most group content alone. Well, I'm managing the other heroics just fine, and I'm a sage. So it's not that I can't do group content solo, it's just this one specifically, which seems to be unaccountably harder than all of the other oh, and that was just the dudes on the gate, apparently. Other mobs inside are not... other groups of mobs are not for elites. Heroics can mostly be done alone, save for a few which need 4 people to interact with stuff simultaneously. I was talking more about veteran flashpoints and uprisings. Oh, okay. So is it possible to do flashpoints solo, or do you have to queue up with 4 other players? Why have you pulled so many? Kaizen, what are you doing? That's not helpful. I can't damage them all down. Well, maybe I can manage. Plenty of flashpoints have a story mode which is intended to be done solo. Oh, okay, cool. I mean, I know that I've done one going from the Republic fleet to Coruscant, but the quests, there was a quest on Coruscant and there was a quest here to get you to do flashpoints, and I think that was requiring me to do it, or would have required me to do it with 3 other players, and it's not that I don't want to do group content, it's that my approach whilst I'm streaming is to wander around and not play as well as I could if I were focusing only on this, instead of like... Because when you're streaming, you have to split your attention and talk and react to the chat, and that reduces your ability to play the game optimally. Not that I would ever claim to be able to play, you know, frame perfect or anything. So I would already be operating at a bit of a deficit if I were to try and stream whilst doing flashpoints and other group content. But also my approach is very much to kind of wander through and take my time and just talk a lot. Oh, would you go away? Attack Kaizen. Kaizen, do something. So I like to wander around and point out weird things that I notice, and I don't want to slow down other people in the group by doing that, and impact their interaction with the story and the game and their enjoyment of it. Flashpoints you find during your class story are not guaranteed to have a story mode. It's the ones in the extensions that always have them, but some original ones do as well, like Essel's, which you mentioned, and Directive 7. Oh, okay, cool. So once I get to the expansions, I can hope to solo flashpoints, but I can't necessarily until then. Good to know. Thank you very much. So where am I actually aiming? That's quite a long way to fight my way to, isn't it? Well, the groups are smaller at least. What did I do that for? That was not the button I wanted to press. Right. just occurred to me that if I keep using the attack order for Kaizen, I can coordinate and focus fire enemies down rather than just leaving him to pick his own targets. That was probably obvious to someone else, but it's taken me this long to realise, and I'll probably forget by the time I get to the next stream. Just as it took me a couple of streams to remember about Cloud Mind, which would be a useful power. Are the various companions that you get better at different roles? I mean, I know that all of them can do all of the roles, but, for example, is Kaizen perhaps not quite as good at tanking because of the class that he gets his powers from, compared with doing DPS? Unlike most companions are very nearly identical. Okay. Because I noticed that, for example, Kaizen is using certain powers that are melee, and Tharan Cedrax, he seemed to be using scoundrel powers, and so did C2N2. So maybe because these two have, I mean, it's been a while since I actually played alongside Tharan, partly because I can't stand him, and partly because there was a month there where I just wasn't playing the game, didn't feel like playing, so I wasn't streaming. So there was a gap between now, a month's gap basically between now and when I last played with Theron as a companion anyway. Piss off. Differences really are negligible, except for Shea Vizsla, best damage companion, and Zoom, best healer companion. Well, I assume that's Z00M, but it looks like Zoom, so I'm going to call him Zoom, and I assume that everyone else calls him Zoom as well. Are those two companions that anyone can get, or are they specific to certain archetypes? Yeah, everyone says Zoom. Cool. Anyone can technically get them, but they are a bit more difficult as both were originally subscriber rewards. Ah, okay. Good to know. I mean, I'm considering subscribing just for the sake of the quality of life stuff that you get. but I'm not currently subscribed. Can I get past them without having to fight them? Oh, is that the person I'm here to rescue? Or one of the people? How large is this area? Am I inside it yet? Rescue prisoners. Yeah, that's a prisoner. That's someone I need to rescue. Okay. Well, let's take on these guys. Shea Visitor is now occasionally available from the Galactic Seasons vendor. Zoom comes from a bonus questline from the 4th expansion. That was originally a subscriber reward, but is now available to be bought with cartel coins. Oh, cool. Okay. You'll get help once we've defeated all these guys. There we go. Okay. We managed it in the end. Neither is really necessary unless you're looking to solo play the really hard stuff like Master Mode, Flashpoints, and Star Fortresses. Okay, cool. That's very helpful. Thank you. I'm probably not going to try it. Well, I mean, I might do. I might try and solo stuff like that. Can use them in team-ups. Yeah, I've not actually teamed up with anyone. I mean, I have briefly on a stream a while ago, but that was open world, so I don't know whether that is the same as during a Flashpoint. So it would be interesting to find out whether if you've got 4 players in a Flashpoint, each of them has their own companion, and so you end up with 8 kind of players running around. Also, if you're playing a Flashpoint and someone is a tank, a player is a tank, and someone's oh no, I was facing the wrong way. That's annoying. And someone else's companion is set to tank, does that interfere with the tanking and like management of threat? I know Star Trek Online sets team size to 5, and that is both players and NPC allies. You can use companions in regular groups for missions and in Flashpoints and Star Fortresses, but they are not available in Ops. Depends, most likely not. Champions Online, though, doesn't consider anything as a proper companion and treats them as summoned pets for all purposes. Oh, okay. Yeah, because you can have, like, sidekicks that you summon in Champions Online, can't you? I've never tried using any of them. I don't know whether... Oh, hello. If you want to throw people around, then you expect to be thrown around. So I'm assuming that depends, most likely not, is in response to my question about whether having, well, I mean, maybe, whether having a companion set to tank interferes with players who are trying to tank. I mean, maybe you just sort that out before you start playing. Or between fights, I guess. But there'll always be one asshole who doesn't communicate with the group. You wouldn't have your companion as a tank for flashpoints or such things if you have a tank player, as a lot of bosses have mechanics that require the tank to do things. Okay, fair enough. Oh hey, that's handy. Was she there the whole time? No, I would have noticed. That was handy. I'm also going to presume that having a player tank is probably just more effective than having a companion tank. Companions also count as players in flashpoints, so you can have a mixed match of either 2 players and their companions, 3 players and 1 companion, or just all players. Oh, okay. So you don't end up with four people with their companions, so 8 people running around a flashpoint. Cool. That's good to know. I suppose it means that you don't end up with groups waiting for tanks to show up. If everyone's playing a DPS or healer and no one wants to switch to tank or can, then you're not stuck waiting for a tank. A somewhat competent tank will be better than any tank companion. Sidekicks in CO are great for upping your combat ability in general. Most of them can't tank worth squat since players generate more aggro than they can. Also, sidekicks have a 15-minute summon timer, and they'll just disappear if the timer is up. Yeah, that would be inconvenient, wouldn't it? If you were trying to tank. Oh, that completed the quest. So I didn't manage to complete the bonus. I was expecting the completion to come when I hand in the quest. So that's a bit disappointing, but oh well. Veteran flashpoints, the most common group activity, can usually be completed with just 4 DPS players as long as the players are not level 10 or completely incompetent. Good to know. Okay, I think that's all content. On Tatooine now. Although it's possible that doing the Ultimate Warriors hand-in on my ship's holo terminal will give me extra things to do on Tatooine. No, I can't sell that. I wouldn't want to anyway. Ooh, all of this is gear that I can use. Splendid. Maybe I should go to... Is it you? Yeah, there we go. My stronghold. Put some stuff in... here. Deposit. A few side quests which you can pick up later will take you here again. The best known of those being HK51 story that rewards you with a really cool companion. Nice. It's good that they reuse old planets. A lot of games don't reuse old zones. Camus Orden. Life after Zerka. Ooh. That's the first time I've gotten a companion gift. Is it a Terminator droid companion? Isn't HK51 the droid from the Knights of the Old Republic games? Which canonically took place a couple of 100 years before this. There are multiple HK series droids and it's all a bit confusing. Okay, fair enough. I thought that HK was the beginning designation for the fan favorite, delightfully sort of Benderish, like human hating, or well, living hating. The one in KOTOR is HK47. Oh, okay. I thought there was a HK in there. Is it Heckler and Koch? All the HKs are like that. So HK51 will be like that as well. Nice. Bit disappointing that the HK51 companion isn't the absolute best DPS and that it's Shay Vizsla instead. I hope you don't mind me writing, but I wanted to say thank you for all you did on Tatooine. I know the SIS tried its best to protect me, but Fowler and I would be dead if it weren't for you, and who knows what Zerka would have gotten away with. Today was my first day of private testimony to the Senate about Zerka's activities. More tomorrow, then public hearings. It's my whole life now. Fowler keeps telling me the SIS needs specialists to follow money trails. Maybe I've got a new career ahead of me. Yeah, that's probably safer than just going back out into the world. 51 is like that, and 55, who you will meet in later expansions. Anyway, the company won't be closing down, but we caused them some trouble. You take care of yourself. This galaxy is too dangerous to lose you. The galaxy won't be losing me, don't worry. But I appreciate your concern. Oh, since you can exit to Coruscant, because this is a stronghold on Coruscant, I assume you can exit to whatever planet your stronghold is on. If your stronghold is on, Tatooine or Yavin, for example. So strongholds are probably, if you've earned enough money to buy every stronghold, they're probably a great way of moving around the world quickly. or around the galaxy quickly, I guess. Who's this? How did I not notice him before? Has he got cybernetic sunglasses? In Terminator, HK Hunter-Killer is the designator for aerial drones that fly around shooting at, usually, people. They're less intelligent than T-Series models, the proper Terminators, but have built-in weapons like Gatling guns, and also can fly, which is significant. You can exit the planet your stronghold is on. Exit to the planet your stronghold is on, with a few restrictions regarding what point in the story you're in and what level you are. Right, so you couldn't buy. If you somehow managed to get enough money to buy a stronghold on Tatooine, but you weren't the level requirement, you probably wouldn't be able to exit to Tatooine. I was thinking about endgame stuff, like once you've gotten to max level and you are running around just wanting to get to different places around the galaxy. The restriction system was put in place after people discovered you could take a level 1 character to your Yavin stronghold, leave it, walk around for a while to get the exploration XP, and suddenly be level 40. Ha! That's great. Bit of a shame that it was patched, but original story planets are excluded from that, so level 1 could technically go to Tatooine. Interesting. Okay. Probably not very safe to walk around as a level 1 character on Tatooine, or maybe even Yavin, I don't know. Does Yavin have hostile enemies? Yavin 4 has a lot of hostile things and it's a level 50 area, but you can make your way around carefully. Cool. How do you know about what I've been doing? Is he voiced by Jim Cummings? There's still a variation of the Yavin exploit that requires a friend to kick you out of their stronghold to accomplish the same task. Oh, haha, cool. That's not much of a choice to a Jedi, is it? Oh, I could probably shuttle out, couldn't I? Hot sun, beasts to fight, could stay. Yeah, I'm surprised there aren't more transition on Tatooine. Seems like a great place for them. Particularly ones who follow the scorekeeper belief system. I don't know whether that's all Trandoshan or just some of them. Species in Star Wars tend to be very much hat wearers. Like the trope of Planet of Hats, where one trait defines every single member of a planet's population. So hence Planet of Hats. That's why I refer to them all wearing hats. Have you done Kaizen's companion story? I've done some of it. I've helped him find his father's bones. But I haven't done anything else. He didn't want to talk to me whilst I was in the stronghold, so I'm assuming that he doesn't currently have anything else that he wants help with. That's not even stairs. Oh, there we go. Like with Jawas and Sand People, where they don't even have names. Yeah, it's more TV shows where, like, all Klingons wear the same hat of being obsessed with honor and combat, and they don't really appear to have very much variation in personality or, you know, interests across the whole population that you get to see bits of during the show. So Sand People are a bit like that, I guess, and Jawas, but not quite. You don't really get even that much personality definition from the various species in the game. This game expands quite a lot on Jawas, and you learn about their culture, well, except for a few exceptions that the other Klingons usually hate. Yeah, I had noticed that we were getting a bit more information on Jawas, for example, and like the young one that we met in Outpost Lagona, who was worried about the Padawan who had run off, who had, I think it was sand fever, did he say? Basically, Tatooine heat stroke, I think. What are Emperor's Casino chips for? Oh, yeah, it's handing over here. Cool. There were a few... There was one Klingon TNG that worked for the Federation, so that he could steal Federation technology to sell to the Romulans. Not even stealing it to give to other Klingons, but the Romulans. Yeah, that's super weird, especially because my vague memory is that Klingons and Romulans really don't like one another. Casino chips are for the casino event that's going on for a few more weeks. Oh, cool. Okay. I thought maybe it was just a thing that you started to get drops of on Tatooine, because once you got to level 25 or whatever the starting level for the zone is, you get access to the Emperor's Casino. But apparently it's an event that I just haven't noticed. I don't know how I would check what's going on at the moment. Oh, the person is inside the hut. What an unpleasant place to be, inside a hut. HUTT. It's an event to win very rare cosmetic prizes. The casino itself is on Nar Shaddaa and Mekshar. Oh, cool, okay. I don't know, I'd say I was sent by him. Don't give up yet. Maybe I can help you kids out a little with my ninja info cards. I've handled lots of Sand People and pirates. Personally. Like hundreds. Oh, I can teach people combat skills. Sounds to me a little bit like John Galt has got sand rot, which is a deeply unpleasant sounding affliction. Okay, but I'm not babysitting. I'm too busy. Refuse. We're not in the sand right now. I mean, I guess you're not. You're in rock, or standing on rock, but we're basically in sand now. Let's see whether I can manage to keep these guys alive, shall we? It's quite a long way out to go, isn't it? Would probably be quicker if I took a taxi. Hopefully there'll be another intercom over there, or they will just respawn as soon as I get off this taxi. Apparently someone was getting feisty. Oh, good. I did notice on Nar Shaddaa that there was a section that appeared to be on the map, but which I couldn't get to, so it appeared as though it was like a big floating casino. Is that the Emperor's casino? And you can temporarily get there during the event. Yeah, I don't know that following a Jedi around, particularly a Jedi who uses ranged attacks, is actually going to be all that much help in teaching these guys tactics. But it will at least give them some combat experience, which is better than nothing. Yeah, it's the casino, but it is always available at some quests. Some quests take place there. Oh, okay. I mean, I know that there is an accessible casino on Nar Shaddaa, but it seemed as though when I was flying around on the taxi that there were also other casinos, at least one other, that just weren't accessible at all. I thought I did all the quests on Nar Shaddaa. At least I did all the ones I could find. And I didn't get taken to any area that I hadn't already gotten access to at the time. Oh, am I done? Cool. I wonder why it's timed. Why does getting recruits back have a time limit? Casino quests are for a different class. Oh, okay, fair enough. You're teaching them the old axiom from The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Always go into combat with an unfair advantage. The bounty hunter and Sith Inquisitor get to go to the casino for their story. Fairness in duels of honor is fine. Actual combat, though? Yeah, fair. I mean, there's a certain amount of fairness that people expect in war, because when you go beyond that, you start committing what are called war crimes. But yeah, in general, there aren't. It is detrimental to stick to honor in war. They were a burden. Not really. I wish it would tell me how much I can sell these things for, because I can't use them. I would like to choose based on value. Sun Tzu's take was more about cruelty and less about fairness. Giving your enemies a quick death is fine, whether you kill them in their sleep or in combat. The answer for how much you can sell stuff is always very little. Oh well. Yeah, but even so, in games like World of Warcraft, well, they didn't initially do it, but they did add the ability to tell how much each reward is worth, so that you could, if you couldn't use any of them or they weren't useful to you anymore, you could make your choice based on how much you got. And quest rewards in WoW are never very never worth very much, but it all adds up, you know. Every little counts, as the Asda slogan goes, or is it Tesco? Yeah, see, WoW rewards are not worth much, while SWTOR quest rewards tend to be comically close to zero. Ah, fair enough. Okay. That is basically equidistant between here and Outpost Lagona, so I guess I'll just start heading there. Oh, this is the area that was under the control of the... No, not Mustafans. What are they? What species are they? The insect guys. No, that's a womp rat. Genosian, there we go. I wouldn't really call this place under attack, I'd call it overrun. Wrong way, there we go. Especially now 11 years on, as the player-to-player economy is inflated to the extreme. Yeah, that's a problem. I thought I was going to be fighting once I got in here, but apparently not. Not for me. So, well, incredible violence. Yeah, stay put until it's safe. You'll just get wiped out. Yeah, throwing your lives away now to try and help when it's not needed is a worse option by far than living so that you can learn to be a better fighter and help your community in the future. So I've been to catch that patrolling guy, but he was at a range. It's a big droid, isn't it? It's practically a walking tank. In both STO and CO, anything that's genuinely rare and highly sought after is sold for so much that no one sells them on the in-game exchange because it's not worth it. So how do people exchange very, very expensive items in those games? Do they agree on social media or forums or something? And then do it privately, like player-to-player transfer? Destroy supply crates. Where are the supply crates? Oh, they respawn quickly, didn't they? These guys respawned really quickly. In-game text chat trading channels mostly, but any method of communication can work. Oh, fair enough. I guess I haven't been paying attention to the trade channels when I've been on Champions Online. Oh, here we go. Here's a crate. I'm glad that completing the primary objective doesn't complete the whole quest and then negate your ability to do the bonus objective, because I can imagine it would be very easy to complete, I mean obviously I have done already, complete the main objective without actually doing the whole quest, including the bonus objective. I wonder why he ignored that or didn't get caught. He was definitely in the area of effect. It's a Jedi Sage. I thought I saw a double lightsaber there, though. It must be their companion. Or a lightsaber staff. Oh yeah, one thing that Sun Tzu emphasized that's very worth remembering: being cruel as a conqueror makes the people you conquered want to overthrow you. Thus it's in your best interest to treat your new subjects humanely. What's in those supply crates that explodes when you stab it with a lightsaber? Power cells, I imagine. I can't imagine that batteries, even as advanced as Star Wars ones, will like sudden introduction of massive heat any more than modern batteries do. It's just lucky that the explosions don't bother us. Bonus: defeat drone commanders. That's these guys, wasn't it? It's probably the gas they use for blasters. Could also be that, yeah. I don't really know much about the technology that they use in Star Wars, particularly, or specifically in this case, blaster technology. But evidently it uses gas. Oh, hey, there's one. I suppose this is where fast respawns are a benefit. Tabanagas, I think it's called. I had a phase a few years ago where I read a stupid amount of Star Wars lore, and now I have all that stuck in my brain. Fair enough. I have read a stupid amount of Harry Potter lore, so I can't judge you at all. Oh yeah, many blasters don't actually draw from their battery to fire. It kind of makes sense, I guess. So what is it that people reload with then? Is it the supply of Tabana gas? Recover defense data from War Marshal Polarin. Okay, let's go do that then. Final stage. Oh, hello. In the original Star Wars movie, they showed people reloading various energy weapons, and Tabana gas canisters was the explanation. For Star Wars, the explanation is that the same gas is used for the projectile and the thrust. Okay. I was going to say, so it's not lasers, but of course it's not lasers, because the blasts don't behave anything like lasers. I mean, they glow, but that does not, in and of itself, make a laser. In fact, most of the time, lasers are invisible because the photons that they transfer just go straight to the target. They would only... laser beams only become visible when they diffuse through atmosphere or atmospheric particles. So the only reason in like smoke that you can see lasers or dust is because of the particles in the atmosphere reflecting the traveling photons out. Many energy weapons in Star Trek are very much like lasers, though. Yeah, phasers behave like lasers for the most part, except you can see the path they take through the air. And I don't think that you can reflect phaser fire with mirrors. Geonosian defense data. Splendid. Let's leg it. Or in fact, since I need to... Oh no, that's telling me to go up here, isn't it? Well, let's shuttle to one of them. There's also multiple purity levels of the gas, and additive gases are used for different effects. I know nothing about Star Trek, but I would find it amusing if the best defense for firearms was strapping a bunch of mirrors to your body. Yeah, I don't think that that's the case. I read something about phasers working by shooting particles at the target that obviously aren't photons. And the reason that people get stunned by phaser fire is that the energy of the phaser particles hitting them is so traumatic that they get stunned unconscious. But it doesn't do enough damage to them physically to actually, like, harm or kill. There's obviously a second floor to this building. But is there... Oh no, okay, it does go up. Alright, I was going to complain that there weren't any steps, but there isn't actually another floor. It's just tall. Okay. Which actually makes sense in a desert. Not really. Don't join the militia. In robes. I mean, okay. None of those are useful to me, so I guess I'll just take that. Star Trek has weird law for how stun weapons work. In the case of phasers, they rely on causing some sort of vibrations on a molecular level, and stun phasers create that in a relatively large area and not just the point of impact. Yeah, I mean, it's been quite a long time since I read any of the background lore about how phasers work, and my memory is not that good anyway. I had thought earlier that I was done with Tatooine, but obviously not. Jester Moisture Farmer. Defend yourself then. Life's never easy. What shitty things to say. You do it. Refuse request. Well, I mean, it will mean the difference between life and death for the pirates, and not in their favour. It's over here. Alright, handing any other one can wait. That person I just passed back there must have been a Nautilon, but the immediate place that my mind went was a Siren from Mass Effect, because of the coloration and the like tendrils swept back on their head. This also causes most materials to simply break, and only some materials can withstand it. But yeah, if you have the right material, it can reflect it. But you need to match the energy frequency of the phaser. Phaser beams can be almost any color because the energy frequency can be retuned. I don't know quite how I'm storing this water to take it elsewhere. But then I'm not sure how I'm storing any of the other items that I've picked up. I mean, I suppose I could be force floating all of these objects like 30 feet above my head. But that doesn't explain how non-force user classes carry all their objects around. And as far as I know, Star Wars doesn't have subspace storage like some other sci-fi settings. Okay. Water barrel. Defeat Twin Suns forces. Oh, it's the Twin Suns again, eh? But not as dangerous as the ones over here. Why are they being referred to as pirates? Would it not be more accurate to call them bandits? Or thieves or robbers? To me, pirates implies that they have some kind of vehicle that they live on. Either like a ship or a boat or a sky ship or a spaceship. I don't think that I would describe raiders on lots of little vehicles like mounts, like bantha, or land speeders, or, you know, jet bikes or something. I don't think I'd describe them as pirates because they don't stay and live on those vehicles, do they? That's my personal definition, anyway. That to be a pirate, you need to live on a vehicle. I suppose they could be pirates if they had some kind of like huge van or something and conducted their attacks from the van, which is a weird thing to think. These guys hit hard, don't they? Real-world pirates usually have a base on land. Somali pirates usually use small motorboats. Even the infamous Blackbeard had a private cove he lived in where he did repairs to his ship. Yeah, fair enough. But, like, the attacks are conducted from a vehicle in those cases. And in media, the pirates live on the ship or the vehicle, which is where I get my definition for them from, really. But, like, there are no vehicles around here, and I mean, we don't get to see them engage in an assault, really, but I don't think that they do so from vehicle. I'm just imagining a smashed-up lorry cruising on the motorway, swarming with scruffy-looking armed men. Yeah, that's the image I had, like an 18-wheeler, just like Mad Max style, done up in spikes and welded on plates. Road pirates pulling up. Breaking into minivans and stealing the snacks. Or transit vans, or like delivery vans, and stealing parcels. Oops, didn't mean to sell that. Buy back. Where was it? There we are. Hand in, right. Yes, that's what I'm doing. breaking into someone's crusty Vauxhall to take the stereo, except instead of 3 hooded gentlemen, it's a mass of unwashed thugs forcing themselves onto the car. Yeah, and for full marks, they do it whilst the vehicle is in motion. Whilst both vehicles are in motion. Like they do it on the freeway. Oh, I was going to say, I thought that that was a Mon Calamari, and I was going to say, like, Mon Calamari are an aquatic species. I really don't think they do very well on a desert planet like this. I always feel like the head on these guys does not match the humanoid body that it's attached to. Like, I would think that a head like this should be attached to a very much stranger body. As far as no one has actually attempted motorway piracy. Oh, it's probably to do with not wanting to fall off the vehicle onto the road and get caught under the wheels of vehicles behind them, which is a legitimate thing to worry about. Yeah, it's usually too dangerous to be practical. That species in Selkath is Selkath. They're from a water-only planet as well. Yeah, I was thinking that head looks a little bit like the shape of the head of a manta ray, actually. Oh, Shaman Boy has started following me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay. So it's not that diplomacy would be possible, just that if you send warriors to engage... What's going on with his hat there? It's floating above his head. Has it got an anti-grav unit so that he's got a bit of space between his hat and his head to, like, give some shade? Professor Larko. Ah, yeah, okay. That's not too far away. Coming up on the end of the stream, but I should have time to do that. Here was me thinking I'd be done with Tatooine halfway through the stream, but seems there'll be a little bit more to do next time. Oh, that will be the hand-in up here, won't it? Okay. It's annoying when the buff that lets you cast something instantly wears off the moment before you press the button to make the attack. And now, fight waves of warriors. Oops, that was not what I meant to do. Oh. Is that it? I thought it was going to be waves. Apparently not. I handled that quite poorly, didn't I? Suboptimally, you might say. Look, go away, will you? I'll give you $50 to fuck off. I can't remember how much it... Well, I've never actually watched Trailer Park Boys. I've only seen the meme or memes. And I don't actually know how much the one guy offers the other guy that's bothering him to fuck off. I think it might be like $100 or several $100, not just 50, but I just picked 50 at random, basically. I believe it's $100. That's one of the things I dislike about playing Sage Sorcerer. The rotation is incredibly rigid and sensitive to small mess-ups. Yeah, it's not that fluid, but I don't mind very much. I'm not really that good at sticking to rotations anyway, and the whole reason I chose Sage is because I wanted to play as a Force user, but at range, and Sage is the only ranged Force user, Republic side, so this was the option that I was left with. And also, like, for story content, the rotation really doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, true. I was interested in doing the Sage, the consular story, because it feels like it's not explored very often. Like, I imagine that almost everyone goes for the Jedi Knight if they're playing Republic, or if they're playing a Jedi, and therefore, if they're playing as a Jedi, they probably play the Jedi Knight story and get that, but don't get the consular story. My main class is the other flavor of consular, Shadow, and its Imperial counterpart, the Sith Assassin. Yeah, I considered playing as a Shadow because I would get to stealth, but I have perhaps an irrational objection to staff lightsabers, because I think they look utterly impractical and dangerous to the user. Needlessly dangerous to the user. I mean, all lightsabers are dangerous to the user. But with a staff lightsaber, you need to take special care not to cut yourself in half. And I just can't get over the fact that I think they look stupid as weapons. In the same way that I think that keyblades just look utterly stupid as weapons. Cool. How often does this need to happen to have sand people leave you alone? The danger factor is why my character uses saber staffs and not dual sabers. So what's the difference? Do you mean dual sabers as in dual wielding two sabers? Two blade style sabers? Sword style sabers? What I don't understand is why there aren't polearm lightsabers with cortosis staffs, so that you've got more reach, and if an enemy decides to try and hit your staff, isn't there a hand in up here? There's definitely something up there. Yeah, a pole saber is probably the correct word now you say it. Saber staff is a long stick with a glowy bit at one end. Ah, okay. Pole saber. A lot of people thought Rey would turn her staff into one of those. Yeah. I'm not really sure what to think of the sequel trilogy. I'm worried about finding critical analysis of it, because I have a feeling that quite a lot of the critical analysis that's out there is just people mad that Rey is female. And I don't really feel like trawling through every piece of review media to try and find a person that isn't just salty mad that the main character is a woman. It sounds exhausting. So I haven't really gotten other people's opinions on valid criticism of the trilogy. I enjoyed it when I watched it. Really enjoyed episode 7. After that, I didn't really enjoy them. Well, fair enough. Yeah, let's just say female is not a gripe you'll see often. Okay. Well, I know that I saw a lot of people complain that Rey was OP, or too talented too quickly, and I felt like the basis of those objections came from Rey being female. Because male characters don't usually get put under the same level of scrutiny for the progression of their power within the rules of the systems that they are operating in. Promise I'll keep my mouth shut about the sequels after this, but my main gripe is that it doesn't feel Star Wars, like the concept of Star Wars was explained to the writers over the phone in a hurry. Yeah, it didn't feel as big. It didn't feel big enough for Star Wars. It felt like all of the locations were quite cramped. Well, not all of the internal locations. Like, there were a lot of internal locations, and they were all quite cramped. There were some outdoor locations, like the planet that Han takes Rey and Finn to, that didn't feel like we got very much of that outside area. It felt like they changed a lot of ideas while writing the movie, and thus the overall story suffered as a result. It was not a bad story, it was just a bad Star Wars story. Yeah, fair. I mean, I haven't watched them since I watched them watched them for the first time. I don't mind if you share your opinions. But I'd like to go back to Staff Sabers or Pole Sabers, because I didn't realize that they were in the game at all, and that sounds really cool. I didn't realize that was an option. And if I had, I probably would have chosen the Shadow, actually, because I really, really like the utility of characters being able to turn invisible, particularly if I'm trying to stream and like trying to get to a location and I don't want to have to fight my way through the whole way. I can hop on and show you how it looks if you like. Not right now. I'm about to finish the stream up. I stream for 3 hours. I try to stream. I keep the streams about 3 hours, and I have been streaming for 3 hours 10 minutes now, because there's a handy little timer on the Twitch app. But if you happen to be watching next time, which will be on Friday, I would like to take you up on that. I really think that when they started writing 789, they had the identity of Rey's parents planned and sort of changed ideas mid-writing twice, which distorted the story narrative in a way that didn't flow well or make sense. Yeah. It felt like it could go either way, with her parents either just having abandoned her or having been killed because they were significant people. It didn't feel like it was certain and locked in, and then a twist when it was revealed that actually they'd been killed because they were Palpatines. I did lots of notable things. What are you talking about? Those are big hands, aren't they? Alright, who are you really? I don't think I'd ever claim that I was putting my lightsaber aside. I did lots of lightsabering. Probably won't be watching on Friday as I have stuff planned, but here's a link to one of the 4 pole sabers. Cool, I'll look at that in a minute. Well, I think the idea that she was Palpatine's granddaughter was the plan from the start. They tried to say it wasn't the case until 9, but in 7 there were more of "we have no idea" than in 8, where they're like, nope, no one of any importance, definitely not. Yeah, fair enough. Well, I hope that you enjoy whatever it is you're doing on Friday, Shaman Boy. I will be back on Monday. I try and make sure to stream regularly Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And since you're following me, you'll probably get some kind of alert that I'm about to go live. You can also find recordings of these streams on my YouTube, Vanilla Jester Gaming. If you feel like catching up, you probably will know everything that all the story stuff that will happen. I'm assuming that you've played lots and lots of the game. You seem like you know what's what, so you probably wouldn't be wanting to watch for the story. Fair enough, but maybe you'll want to watch because I amuse you. No, they probably hadn't nailed down the exact specifics of why they left her on that planet, though. Yeah, probably. So yeah, next time on Friday I will talk to whoever it is on the ship's holo terminal, because I'm already over enough at this point. And I just want to finish up. I have an embarrassing amount of hours in this game and have played all stories, but I might watch for other reasons. Cool, fair enough. No worries if you don't feel like it. It's entirely up to you. It will be about 3 hours worth of time that you could spend doing other things. Or, you could put this on in the background if you just want a voice to listen to and something you're familiar with happening. Multiple people have told me that my voice is pleasant to listen to, which is nice to hear. Haha. Little pun. But yeah. You're currently in the background while I clean my garage. Cool. Garage or garage? So, yes, that's the end of things for today. As I mentioned, you can find these streams on my YouTube, Vanilla Jester Gaming. This should go up tomorrow at some point. The only reason it wouldn't is if I'm having catastrophic internet connection problems. I'm also on Twitter at Vanilla Jester. And the next time I stream will be Friday, 8 p.m. GMT, for about 3 hours. More or less 8 p.m. It has tended to be a little after that, generally speaking. But it will be at some point between 8 and 9, well, half 8. 8 and half 8, usually. If it gets to about half 8 and there's no stream, then it probably won't be happening. But anyway, until I see you again, I hope you have a nice time, whether that's on Friday or not. And goodbye.